Hello guys, and welcome to the 10 best gaming news stories for the 15th until the 31st of May 2022. Nick Baker was speaking on the Xbox Era podcast and he said, "Remember that there was a rumor mill a while back where I said that there is another Microsoft franchise that's getting the Master Chief Collection type treatment? I am of the belief that is coming this year, and there has been rumors going around that it's actually about Gears of War. So Gears of War might be getting a Master Chief style collection later this year. So if more details come out about that soon, I'll be sure to share it on the gaming news. Is Final Fantasy 15 has reached 10 million units sold. Originally it launched in 2016 on PlayStation 4, and it had an accompanying movie, an anime series, and a few DLC have come out since then. The project of Final Fantasy 15 is finished, but if you're a Final Fantasy or a JRPG fan, I would recommend Final Fantasy 15. It's very good. According to an article on NME, the Dark Souls PvP and online servers are coming back. So From Software said, "We are currently in the process of restoring the online servers for Dark Souls series on PC. We plan to restore online service for each game progressively, bringing back servers for Dark Souls 3 once we complete the necessary work to correct the problem." And then they go on to say, "We will provide additional updates as soon as the restoration schedule is finalized. We want to thank all our players for your patience and understanding as we work to fix this issue." So this is in regards to a vulnerability identified some months ago, which was resulting in players on the PC versions of Dark Souls actually getting hacked. So they took all the servers down, and they're still 4 months later working to restore them. Only released a financial statement talking about the sales of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and they're projecting that the PlayStation 5 will start outselling the PlayStation 4 again by 2024. Due to supply issues of chips, it led to the PlayStation 4 actually outselling the PlayStation 5, which is predicted to also happen next year. But hopefully from then on, things will go back to the way they should be. PlayStation 5 is an amazing console, and I can't wait for everyone who wants one to get their hands on it. According to an article on Video Game Chronicle, Capcom is looking to potentially revive some of its dormant IPs and game series. So games like Resident Evil are going to continue to receive new updates. So we're all waiting now for a potential Resident Evil 4 remake and Resident Evil 9, for example. But other franchises such as Lost Planet, Power Stone, and Okami haven't received updates in years. I personally have played Lost Planet 3. I really enjoyed it, so I hope they do make another one for the series and revive it. So if there's any details about any revived IPs, I will be sure to mention it on the gaming news. So according to an article on Kotaku, the Embracer Group are planning a lot of new games with the new IPs they've acquired from Square Enix. So they said, "After the end of the quarter, we have further strengthened our development capabilities and IP portfolio by entering into an agreement to acquire Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and other IPs. The announcement got an overwhelming and positive response. We see a great potential not only in sequels but also in remakes, remasters, spin-offs, as well as transmedia projects across the group." So since the acquisition of these IPs from Square Enix, the Embracer Group's stock price has increased fairly well, but also Square Enix's has increased fairly well. So it does seem overall to be a good deal in the short term for both companies, but in the long term we will see what the ramifications are. Star Wars Jedi Survivor has been announced during the Star Wars celebration, so it will be the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a game that I would highly recommend. It's very fun to play, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. The free games for PlayStation Plus for June 2022 have been leaked. So they will be God of War 2018, Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. So I would recommend God of War especially. It's already available on the Games of Play on PlayStation, but if you add it to your PlayStation Plus, if you have PlayStation Plus, then it will be available to you forever. So it will be available from the 7th of June. So the previous month games you'll be able to redeem until then. Norman Reedus was doing an interview with Leo where they said to him, "Okay, so you've got the book going on, you've got the final season coming out, and then the spin-off, and you're filming Death Stranding, the video game." And Norman Reedus replied, "Yeah, we just started the second one." So it's all but confirmed that a Death Stranding sequel is on the way, even if there hasn't been any announcement yet. If there's more details about it at some point, I'll be sure to report it on the gaming news. As Hideo Kojima was apparently not too happy with Norman Reedus posting that Death Stranding 2 is in development. So he sent out a tweet with some pictures saying, "Go to your room, my friend," in which he picks up a bat and savagely beats Norman Reedus. I'm just kidding. But basically, I think it's all good between them, and hopefully sooner than later we'll get details about it. I really enjoyed Death Stranding, the first one, so any news about the sequel is very welcome. So there's been a lot of articles posted in the last day talking about the Last of Us Remake. It's been posted on a lot of websites, and this is in response to a soundbite from Jeff Grubb speaking on the Kind of Funny Games cast, where he said, "I keep hearing that it's coming out this year. The Last of Us Remake this holiday." Originally, The Last of Us came out back in 2013 on the PlayStation 3, and it has since been remastered for PlayStation 4 and then has been patched for PlayStation 5. So it looks pretty good considering its age, and a lot of people will consider The Last of Us to be quite a recent game, but actually came out nearly a decade ago at this point. So a remake would tie in very nicely with the TV show that is currently filming. I personally released a video talking about my top 10 games of all time, in which I featured The Last of Us in spot number 2, just behind Zelda 64 Ocarina of Time. Now, what is The Last of Us, you might be wondering? Well, The Last of Us is a zombie apocalypse survival game, basically, where the main characters Joel and Ellie need to escape the apocalypse. Now, you might think that sounds like so many other games which have come out before and since then, and it definitely does. However, the strong relationship between the main characters of Joel and Ellie is what defines The Last of Us. Early in the game, something devastating happens for Joel. It results in him losing all sense of humanity and care for the world that he's in. His interaction with Ellie, however, causes him to regain his humanity and love another human being as much as he did at the beginning of the game. At the time of its original release, the developer Naughty Dog was known for creating games like Uncharted, which were focused on action-adventure, massive set pieces, collapsing buildings of the Tomb Raider style. And there is a lot of excitement about the prospect of it being remade with The Last of Us 2 engine, because a lot of people argue that The Last of Us 2 had much better combat and gameplay from The Last of Us 1, even though people really didn't like the story of The Last of Us 2. Having the game remade in a modern engine would definitely be welcome, because it has aged decently but not perfectly, and there are some game-breaking bugs in the game which really need to be fixed, so a complete remake would be welcome. Now, will it be a remake of the same vein as Final Fantasy VII Remake, where it's actually a retelling of the story? That we don't know, and that we'll have to wait and see. Would it be a waste to remaster it again, considering that we had the PlayStation 4 remaster already? We do know for sure is that, given that it's being developed by Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog is one of the PlayStation studios, then most likely The Last of Us Remake will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. I would definitely jump at a chance to play The Last of Us again if it was remade in a modern engine. Though very few games have grabbed my attention like The Last of Us, because seeing Joel become a human being again and the relationship between the characters meant a lot to me and a lot to a lot of people who played the game, and it's definitely a journey that all gamers should experience, in my opinion. I'm obviously trying my best not to oversell it, but in more than a year of covering the gaming news, there has never been any game that I've made a dedicated video for in all that time. So I'm definitely looking forward to the TV show when that comes out, and any news about The Last of Us Remake, I'll be sure to cover it on the gaming news. Anyway guys, that's it for the gaming news for today. Thank you so much as always to all the new followers, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks guys, bye bye.